Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm on stream recording a video. Some people in my chat are quite new to Tekken, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do like a crash course for beginners. Teach you a couple of things for anybody who's like starting to play Tekken for the first time or playing fighting games for the first time. It can be a very daunting process, right? Learning to play a game, especially as complicated as Tekken. Like, even something as simple as backdashing can seem like a huge journey to actually begin to be able to move fluently in the game. So, first off, we're going to do three things, right? We're going to do backdashes, frames, and punishes. First off, with a backdash, instead of going... So, a backdash is back, right? Back for a backdash. That's how you move across the screen, how you move backwards. Let me see. So if you look on the left where it says command history, 2 backs is a backdash. I'm sure you guys already know this. The backdash I'm going to teach you guys, if you've never played Tekken before, especially, is the ladder backdash. I think it's called the ladder backdash, right? So back down, back down. And just repeat this over and over again. It should look like this. If you do it really quickly, like I'm doing, you don't have to do it super quickly. You still move really quickly. You still move quite fluently if you just go back down, back down. This is like a sidestep cancel backdash, right? You can also do back up, and it achieves the same result. It's just that sometimes with back up, you might get an accidental jump in there. So that's why it can be a bit tricky. Obviously, like if the walls is to your right, you might want to do back up a little bit. Anyway, so that's the backdash, right? Back down. Easy, right? Practice this over and over again. Make sure to get the input clean and precise. You don't want something that looks, you know, bad. I mean, I'm used to backdashing, so I can't make it look like really bad purposefully. But you want clean backdashes, right? You want a really smooth, fluent backdash, right? It's super important in Tekken to be able to move fluently. So, that's backdashes done. Now, frames is a little bit more complicated. So, you see where it says attack starter frames 10 for Reina at the bottom left. Attack starter frames 10 and frame advantage plus 8. Okay. So frames in a nutshell. You see at the top left where it says 59 FPS. I'm sure you already know what that means. There are 59 frames, still images playing on the screen per second, right? 59 frames per second. So in Tekken, we use frames as a metric for measuring the speed of animations, of the moves that we do. And generally speaking, there are exceptions to this, but universally, the fastest move in Tekken is a 10 frame jab. That's why it says at the bottom left, attack startup frames 10. And you know what we just said about frames per second up there? 60 frames per second is what Tekken runs at, right? 60 frames per second. So if we use some simple maths, we can deduce that 10 frames is a sixth of a second. So a jab comes out in a sixth of a second. That's all the frames. That's all that frames mean. It's as simple as that. So with that being said, 10 frames, a sixth of a second, is how long it takes for Reina to punch Kazuya. Okay? Now, after the impact of the punch, that is where the frame advantage and frame disadvantage comes in. So it says plus 8 frame advantage for Reina and minus 8 for Kazuya. So anytime you do an attack in Tekken, after your character has hit the opponent or the opponent has blocked it, you're both stuck in an animation of recovery. So right now, every time Reina hits Kazuya, she is then recovered. So after the punch, she is recovering from hitting Kazuya. And after Kazuya gets hit, he is recovering from being punched by Reina. So at the end of that, at the end of both their animations, Reina recovers 8 frames quicker than Kazuya does. So, with that being said, if Kazuya then tries to punch Reina back after being hit, look what happens. He cannot interrupt me, right? Because I am 8 frames ahead of him. And we know that a jab is 10 frames. So essentially, I can do any move up to 18 frames and I will beat Kazuya before he can jab me. Because his move is 10 frames, right? If I am 8 frames ahead of him, 10 plus 8 with some simple maths, I can do something that is, what's 18 frames? This is 18 frames. So, if I do something that's 18 frames, right? There we go. You see how it's trading? The reason it's trading is because I'm doing an 18 frame move and Kazuya is doing a 10 frame move. And if I am plus 8, it means that our moves will come out. Our moves will hit each other at the same time, basically. That's all that means. So I hope that makes sense. But the thing is, right? Let's do a down forward 2, right? Okay. So if I jab and then do a down forward 2. See the Kazuya? If you see really carefully. If you look really carefully, you can see that he's trying to interrupt me here. He's trying to jab. He cannot. I will interrupt him because my move is 15 frame moves. And he needs me to do an 18 frame move or more to trade. He needs me to do an 18 frame move to trade with his jab. Or if I do something that is 20 frames, what do I have that's... Okay. So if I try and do a 20 frame move, I cannot do it in time. Because I'm only plus 8. I'm not plus 10, right? I'm not at least plus 10. If I was plus 10, he would trade with the jab. Okay? I know I'm going on and on and on about this, but it's really important that you guys understand this. So I hope you understand by now how frames work. So, just to hammer this home even more, what's minus 10? Okay, I'm going to change characters. I'm going to change Kazuya to Brian because he has a minus 10 frame move. We're now going to move on to punishes. This should seem simple enough now that you understand frames, okay? So I'm going to get Brian to do a move that is minus 10 on block. And you will now understand what people mean when they say minus 10 on block. So, see now, when he does that move, it says plus 10 for me. Well, that also means that Brian cannot do anything for 10 frames, including block. So, I can punish him with a 10 frame jab. And this is a punish. You see how it says punish below recoverable damage in the bottom left? See how it says punish there? That's really, really important that you understand that. And just again, the reason behind this, Brian is doing a move that commits him to recover for 10 frames if the move gets blocked. So while he's recovering, he cannot do anything. He can't block, he can't move, he can't do anything. So for 10 frames, I have complete control. So if I have a 10 frame move, or a 10 frame string, then I can punish him for it, right? Also, an important thing to note is that... So, this 112... What? What is going on? Oh. That was really weird. An important thing to note is if I could do a 10-frame move, like this is a punish, right? It's 112. You can see the jab is the first hit, right? So it comes out 10 frames. 112 is what we call a natural, which means that once you press the whole string, this is called a string as well. Okay, I know it's getting a bit complicated. This is called a string. This whole string is he cannot block once the first move hits. Okay, he cannot block after the first jab. If I also do something that's not a natural, like this, you see how Brian blocks the last two hits? This is because after the first two jabs, that knee and the high kick are not guaranteed. He can choose to block that. Because well, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of like why, but the important thing to note here is that some strings are like, this is a punish because it's all guaranteed if Brian does something that's -10. And also, if Brian does something that's just to, you know, hammer it home. If Brian does a snake edge like this, then he says +26 and he staggers. He goes, ugh, on the floor, right? 9.23 is -13. Yeah, thanks, Yaron. Yeah, I know, but I want to like hammer it home with like a really heavily punishable thing. So, universally, like generally speaking, if somebody's -15 frame move, if somebody's -15, they're gonna get launched. So he's minus 26 here, so I can fully launch him. Punish, and then you do your big combo, which I just messed up. Why is that messing up with Brian? That's so weird. There we go. That's when you get to do all of this stuff, right? For free. So you absolutely need to be blocking things like this that give you you know, huge advantage over your opponent. But that comes with time and with practice. But anyway, just wanted to make this short little Tekken crash course guide. Hope you guys found it useful. Hope you guys learned something, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.